Kevin Herter to get it in. Everyone standing at State Farm Arena. Herter looks. Plays it into Trey. 2 seconds, one. Trey's floater. Good! With .1. And the Hawks are going to win this game.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
You are now listening to the Hawksbeat podcast with your host, E-Dub. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to another edition of the Hawksbeat podcast, season 7, episode 5, the Brooklyn edition. The Brooklyn edition. Recapping the game tonight, man, with the Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets. A shootout. I would say a Western shootout, but they're in the East Coast. So I guess it was a good old-fashioned East Coast shootout, and the Hawks were on the business end of it. But a very entertaining game tonight, man. I will tell you that, man. Brooklyn gets to win 145-141. We're going to go into all the usual bells and whistles tonight. We're going to give you our player of the game. We're going to tell you our Fab 5 Hawks. We're going to give you the good, bad, and the ugly. We're going to recap. We're going to go over our keys to the game that we tweeted out before the game. Just the whole kit and caboodle, man. So, again, thank you for checking us out. Thank you for stumbling onto the podcast. If you stumbled here, we appreciate you. Stick around for a little bit. We're just going to talk a little bit of Hawks basketball. I'm your man once again, E-Dub, and we invite you, man, connect with us on our social media platforms. A lot of what we do is on the social media front. We are pushing out a lot of YouTube content, so make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, and follow us on the Twitters at, I know you're waiting for it, I know you get your pen, at Hawksbeat. That's all one word, at Hawksbeat. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, man, 145-144, and this was just an old-fashioned shootout, man. And it really came down to one team had Kyrie and KD. And one team didn't. One team had it, one team didn't. Before we get into the recap and the keys to the game, man, we got to pay some bills real quick. So here is a quick word from our sponsor. Then we're going to get into keys of the game and a brief recap. You listen to the Hawksbeat podcast, season 7, episode 5. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy E-Dub for the Hawksbeat podcast. When I was trying to get my podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all those apps that people listen to? Most importantly, how do I make money from my podcast? The answer to all of these questions is simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-step shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it is 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. Now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing by reading this ad. Look, guys, I have over 10 years of podcast experience, and Anchor is by far the easiest platform I've ever used. So, if you want to get started using Anchor and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. We are back. Hawksbeat podcast, season 7, episode 5, man. We're back. Hawks drop a doozy to the Brooklyn Nets, man, and this one kind of stings a little bit because you feel like you could have won. Hawks jump out to they came out swinging, man, guns a blazing, scoring 41 points in that first quarter. The only problem is when you score 41, you don't want to give up 38, unless you just gonna be empty in the clip. John and Trey had a very good first quarter. Actually, everybody shot really well. The Hawks shot 65% in that first quarter. John had 11, Trey had 8. Trey had 4 assists, John had 4 rebounds. They really came out with aggression that you'd like to see. And let me tell you something, man. This Hawks team is not going to have any problems scoring the basketball this season, man. They're just not. Second half, they cooled down just a little bit. The Nets actually won that quarter in the second, 29-27. But it was still a very close game. JC and Trey were really cooking. And Bogey came off the bench, had about 11 points at halftime. So at the half, you had Trey and JC with 16, Bogey with 11, and Hawks had a 1-point lead, 68-67. Third quarter, I tweeted something before the half. I said, let's see if I can remember. I said, DeAndre played well, Bogey played well, Trey and John are cooking. I was like, third quarter, I need to see more from Capella, and I need to see more from Cam. I don't know if Cam looked at my timeline during halftime and was like, all right, bet. Third quarter, Cam came out really aggressive, really strong, aggressive on both sides of the ball. And here's my take on Cam Reddish so far. Cam Reddish is like somebody driving a Lamborghini but doesn't necessarily know how to drive a stick shift yet. Right? So does that make sense? So the car has so much power, so much potential of just being an amazing car, but he's not quite sure of how to completely drive it. Sometimes he drives and he handles that in the fourth gear. He shifts up, shifts down, and he really makes it going. And you know what that car can do. But for the time being, he doesn't really understand all the nuances of the car. So your hope is that he continues to grow and that one day you'll see him as a fabulous sports car. But I really enjoyed. I thought he had a strong third quarter. I thought he finished the game much better than he started. But again, Hawks win the third quarter as well. They win the third quarter 36-35. They start the fourth quarter, and the game basically came down to this. One team had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and one team didn't. 29 points for KD and Kyrie in that fourth, and it was just too much. It was just too much. I mean, and you can't even say the Hawks weren't even D'ing them up. I mean, Kyrie was just getting the spots, making shots, contested shots. It didn't matter who you had on him. I tweeted it would have been nice to have Chris Dunn out there, but you know what? Chris Dunn, he wouldn't have been able to slow him down. Like, he would not have been able to slow him down. Kyrie was just that special. And when he got a little tired, KD came in and did some of the lifting. And at the end of the day, that was the difference. 145-141. A lot of points scored tonight, but you don't want to believe in moral victories, but if you saw this game from the Hawks side, if you saw this game from the Hawks side, you really can't be disappointed at their effort. I thought early on if they would have just tightened up the defense, and there was just some little nuances in the fourth quarter that could have separated them from, little things here and there. Could have said, hey, man, little thing here, a little thing there, and you probably could have walked away with a victory. Coach had about a 7-minute press conference after the game, but I just want to play you a little bit of sound from what he said when he first came on, and I thought it was perfect, Coach Pierce. Hold on, here's a little sound from Coach Pierce.
Kyrie and Kevin started to get hot there in the fourth quarter, but what did you think?
Kevin got hot in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. What did you think the biggest difference was down the stretch? Is that it?
Kyrie and Kevin got hot in the fourth quarter.
Talk to me a little bit.
That's basically it, man. Like, I mean, I know you want to ask some more questions. Like, I get it. But, like, that's basically it, y'all. Like, Kevin and Kyrie got hot in the fourth quarter. Like, that was the difference in the game. You could talk about all the nuances about the first three quarters. But when it came down to it, the men said, hey, man, we are not going to lose. So So if you are new to the podcast, each game I give out my keys to the game, and it's just a little something that I do to pregame if I don't go live. And so we'll revisit these keys real quick. The first thing I said was the Hawks have to empty the clip. I said if you play D like you did against Detroit, you're going to lose by 50. So if you're going to bring luck last to defense, your ass better be balling offensively. And I guess they heard me because the defense was much to be desired at times, but they sure was able to score the ball. They was able to score the ball at a very high clip, man. 142 points is going to win you a ball game on most nights, but if you're going to score 142, you can't give up 146. Wait, was it 146? 100? No, if you're going to score 141, you can't give up 145. I got to be correct with my score. My second key was you have to neutralize DeAndre Jordan on the boards. I thought the last game they let Detroit eat a little bit on those offensive boards, but tonight, give the Hawks credit, man. They out-rebounded Brooklyn on the offensive end and on the defensive end. I think they out-rebounded them 12-7 on the offensive boards. And just overall, they out-rebounded them by let me pull it up real quick. 54-40. So, in the offensive board, it was 17-9, excuse me. 17-9. So, they was very active. And kudos to those guys because that's with only getting 20 minutes from Clint Capella. Now, Capella got 12 rebounds in that 20 minutes, but everybody was in there banging. I mean, DeAndre was in there banging. John had a double-double, so salute to them the way they attacked the boards tonight. Last, I said you got to make Durant work. I said KD is going to eat, but you got to make him work for his meal. Here's the funny thing. Kevin Durant is so good, he can have a night like he had tonight, which was, 33-11? And you can say that you did a good job on him. I mean, my guy had 30 and what was his final box score? 33-11, and you look away and hey man, we played pretty good on him. He is that good. I didn't mention Kyrie, but Kyrie was the man in the fourth quarter. So I mean, I think you did a decent job on John. I think that Reddish and Hunter, this was a good learning experience for them. I'm interested to see how they play on the second game on Friday night. See if they change up anything. I wouldn't change up much. I thought they were physical with them. I thought that they made the guys work. It wasn't like Kyrie was just going to the hoop and getting uncontested layups. This man was working. So salute to those guys. I mean, you just got to be a little bit better. When it comes to those vets, they understand, okay, this is an important possession. I don't need to jack up a 30-foot three-pointer, Hawks don't understand that quite yet because there was a couple quick shots by Trey. There was a couple quick shots by Cam. I was like, no, you really don't need that right now. You're trading buckets under 5 minutes. You need to get better percentage, move that ball along, and, see what you can do. But, it is what it is. What we're going to do on the other side of the break, I'm going to give you my Fab 5, which is my five best Hawk players for the night. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm going to give you my player of the game. But first, another word from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back. This segment is brought to us by Tillman's Trinkets and Things. Custom jewelry shipped quickly to your doorstep. Every piece will be uniquely yours. You can get the Tillman's Trinkets and Things from our website, thehawksbeat.com. Just click on their banner, Tillman's Trinkets and Things. Shout out to our guy Jonathan. He's done great work. He's made pieces for my daughter, for my son, for myself. Check out the folks over at Tillman's Trinkets and Things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. Hawksbeat Podcast, episode 5 of season 7. Let's do this. Let's start with the good and bad and ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be on the game or about the game. And tonight was something kind of surrounding the game. Tonight, the good for me was one Mr. Vince Carter. Yes, Vince Carter. Vince Carter was on the telecast tonight, and I thought that he was just a really, really good listen. Shout out to Bob Rathburn too, who tweeted me during the game. I was like, "Yo, man!" I like Vince got Kyrie started. Then Bob, who follows me on Twitter, he was like, "Nah, that wasn't Vince. That was Neek." So yeah, man, shout out to Bob, but shout out to Vince. I thought he did a great job tonight. It was awesome hearing the stories that in the relationships that he still has with a lot of these Hawk players, talking about him and Bruno exchanging text messages and talking about the relationship that he has with Bogey, because Vince don't play with damn near everybody in the league. But I just thought Vince was a clean listen tonight. I thought he offered great perspective. He was critical. Well, he wasn't critical. He was honest. He was honest about Trey in some possessions. He was honest about Cam in some possessions. And I just thought he was a very good listen. I look forward to hearing much more of him. I think he's going to be on for maybe five more games. So we will see. So the good for me tonight was one Mr. Vince Carter. The bad was, look, man, you were unable to do anything with Kyrie in the fourth. I mean, and I guess that could have been the ugly, but for me, I just had that as bad. Like, you couldn't do nothing with him. Like, you couldn't do nothing. Like, and I understand. Like, Kyrie was just Kyrie. And I was like, yeah, it would have been nice to have Chris Dunn out there. But you know what, man? Even if you had Chris Dunn out there, Kyrie still would have cooked, man. Sometimes when Kyrie gets in these moments, he's just special. Like, he's just special. Like, that's what type of player he is, man. And tonight, man, it was bad for the Hawks. It was bad for the Hawks. The ugly, Gallo spraining his ankle. Didn't like to see that, man. I hate to see players dealing with injuries, and Gallo's already one of those guys who are kind of prone to injury. So I didn't like seeing that at all, man. Turned his ankle, only played like 3 minutes, but I think he had like 5 points. I think he hit a 3 and a jumper or something. But yeah, man, I don't like to see Gallo hurt. Hopefully it's minor. Hopefully that he'll be able to get some treatment on it tonight and have a rest day and be ready to go on Friday. But we will see. He's not no spring chicken no more, so I don't know. So that was the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, top 5, or what I've called my Fab 5. Fab 5 players of the night. These are the 5, the top 5 performers for the Atlanta Hawks tonight. And start with the point guard, Trae Young, man. 30 points, 11 assists. In 32 minutes. I thought Trey was really good. I thought he was poised. I didn't think he took too many terrible shots. 5 turnovers, but, when you have 11 assists, I guess 5 turnovers is kind of par for the course. I thought Trey was good tonight, man. No problems with Trey. It was a +5. Next up is Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish makes my 5. I thought Cam was really good. I thought that he finished better than he started. He had a really good third quarter. I thought he was strong defensively. The second half, that was locked in. Still making some bonehead mistakes as a youngster, but that's just going to come with time. 20 points for Cam, and I thought he was really good defensively as well. DeAndre Hunter, 11 points. Thought he made some big shots. 11 points, 8 rebounds for Dre. I thought that was big for him. 2 of them offensive. I thought he hit some big 3-pointers down the stretch. Thing about DeAndre, and I tweeted this during the game, DeAndre made some plays that are not going to show up on the stat sheet. One time, one play he got a steal, and that's going to show up. But he gets his hand in the passing lane, leads to a steal. The steal leads to a transition bucket. Brooklyn comes down again. He gets he gets in the guy's face, almost blocks a shot. And just not in the Hawks get the rebound. So it's like just stuff like that. I thought he was locked in defensively. But when Kyrie's cooking, So hopefully he learns from that. The fourth guy I got is John Collins, man. 30 points, 10 rebounds. He was arguably the Hawks' best player tonight. He was a +5. I thought he shot the ball well. I thought he was aggressive on both sides of the ball. I thought he was aggressive on the glass. And that's what you like to see with John, man. That is what you like to see with John. And the fifth guy I have is Bogan Bogdanovic, man. I thought that he's really starting to get to his spots now, really starting to shoot the ball. And look, man, ain't nobody was worried about Bogey when he was struggling shooting the ball when he came out the gate. You know that this guy can score. 22 points for him tonight off the bench. 7 for 14 shooting. He hit 6 threes, 6 for 11 downtown. I just love having him on the squad, man. Like, and the difference is, and they kind of alluded to that in the press conference. I mean, not in the press conference, but in the game. For once, Trey is able to come back into a game and not have to be down by 12 and 14 and feel like he has to be freaking Superman. It's nice to have that balance with that second unit. And I don't know how much longer Bogey's going to be coming off that bench or if he's going to start a couple games. But either way, I mean, you're in good hands. You're in good hands because you simply have more talent. So player of the game is obvious, is John Collins. John Collins for me, 30 points. Again, 10 rebounds, a double-double. 12 for 20 from the field. I thought he was really active. I thought he was the best big man on the floor tonight on both sides. So kudos to you, Mr. Collins. But it just wasn't enough for the Hawks as they learned a critical lesson tonight in the details of winning a basketball game, especially when you're going up against two superstars in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So 145 to 141. These two teams will hook up again on Friday night. I'm not sure if I'll do a pod that night. If not, I'll probably do one on Saturday. But make sure that you are tuned in and that you are subscribed to the Hawksbeat podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube and all of that jazz, man. Subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on the Twitters at Hawksbeat. And like we say every time, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. If you don't know him, you need to find him and show him love, because that is all he's showing you. Love. Love. We out. Peace.
Freebeats.io. Freebeats.io. Freebeats.io.